Welcome to Digital Asset News, take a top stories in cryptocurrency digital assets and break them down to bite-sized pieces. And today, we did it. We knew this day was coming. We knew it was happening fast. And I believe we're on the precipice of something enormous. First up, crypto giant Grayscale buys 12,320 Bitcoin in a day. That's 13x the rate of new daily supply entering market. We'll explain exactly why this is so big. And then also, I want to give us an opportunity to dream a little bit. The last couple of days, we haven't had the best news, especially with the SEC and different things that were going on. Prices were going up, but it really just gives us an opportunity just to sit back and go, okay, what if? What could it actually be? This one's great. It talks about Raoul Pal predicts a Bitcoin bull run will be more shocking than crypto traders imagine. And the numbers that he's talking about are truly astronomical. And we'll get into all that, but first I want to go over what's going on in the market. So today it is December 26th. It is about 10 a.m. El Paso, Texas time. And I just want to make a real quick Dan snippet video because there's just amazing things going on. So we have to talk about it. The first thing that's coming up in my radar is Bitcoin is almost going to hit 26,000. I know that sounds pretty amazing because we had just talked about 25. Actually, we just talked about 20 not too long ago, and here we are almost at 26,000. So I want to say congratulations to everybody who has held crypto and Bitcoin, which is pretty much everybody on this channel. There's been a lot of times when I know family, friends, colleagues, even loved ones have probably questioned going, why are you into that? It makes no sense. That is so stupid. You need to get out of that. Get into something more stable like bonds, stocks, or something. And here we are today. So I hope that humble pie that you bought them for Christmas, I hope they enjoy chomping down on that. So Bitcoin here, almost going to hit 26. It's up 7% for the day, 12% for the week. That's amazing. Ethereum is also up 645, almost hit at 650. Tether, nobody cares. XRP, I will just say this on XRP. I feel for all the XRP holders because over next year, it's going to be extremely rocky. There's just no two ways about it unless that lawsuit by the SEC gets dropped and unless all the exchanges just come out and say, you know what, we're behind you 100%. We're not going to delist anything. We're not going to stop trading. We're going to go full force. I do not see that happening. So for all the people who put a lot of their life savings into XRP, and I read all the comments and all the different things that are going on Twitter, my heart goes out to you. Litecoin, 10%, so another great one. Bitcoin Cash, everything's up. Let's just say it. Most things are up, we'll just say that. Except OKB. Nobody cares about OKB. 14% for synthetics, and so on and so forth, 12%. What I really want to do, what the heck was this? 25%, what did I miss? Digibyte, wow, Digibyte, on a tear. Also, there's a couple things I want to point out. This graph, that's an amazing buy. Trade the Chain, they had called that when it was listed. It got called when it was breaking through and was being listed on December 18th at 5 in the morning. And then a couple hours later, 3 hours later, it was at 56 cents. So 211%. If you're looking for something like this for sentiment analysis, go in the description below. There's a link to check it out. 14 days, no questions asked, refund if you don't like it, and then go from there. So graph, good for that. And then I just want to point out one thing, and that is that two things actually. Celsius Network is almost about to bust through the $4 range. We had just talked about that as being $2. Now here we are. And Theta, one of the ones I've been talking about for the longest time, ever since Digital Dave introduced me to it over at Crazy for Cryptos. Thanks, Dave. We're in the top 20. And that's pretty amazing. It just broke through $1, now it's at $1.50. I see massive things happening. So 20%, that's pretty good. But let's just take a look real quick. If you just would have invested into Bitcoin as compared to all other altcoins. So there's not much that would beat it. Litecoin was one of them. Theta, second one. Synthetics, which always breaks through. Dash, Zilliqa, one that I'm definitely going to. I'm going to definitely get into Zilliqa at some point. I keep saying the same thing. I never do it. 8% for Graph, and then you can just see 18% for Digibyte. Wow, there's not many that you could really beat Bitcoin to right now. Is there going to be a altcoin season? Yeah, at some point, maybe, hopefully, but it's not going to be a bunch of institutional investors. It'll be retail, just like before, maybe some hedge funds, but not too much. BitMax token at one. See, all these ones down here, you can gamble and look at it and go, oh, this is going to be good. But look at all the different ones that are out there that you could say, oh, that would have been awesome, or this would have been awesome, or that. But you'll never know because they pump and dump so regularly. It's just impossible. It's why I stay away from. I like to minimize risk. Anyhow, let's jump into what's really going on. This is huge. We had always talked about if Grayscale is buying so much, and PayPal is buying so much, and MicroStrategy is buying so much, then MassMutual gets into it, and then all the other institutions get into it. Why does the price not really move? It's because they were doing OTC. They were getting it from miners, but there was only so much to go around. I mean, supply and demand. It is an inescapable fact that at some point this had to happen, and here it is today. So Grayscale is the first one. Nobody wants to be first, but nobody wants to be last. And Grayscale is the one that kind of, I'm going to say, kind of broke an unwritten rule and said, you know what? We know that there's a daily amount out there, and we're trying to, like, constrain ourselves to it so the price doesn't go up too much. But you know what? F it. Let's hit the alarm. Let's hit the bell. Let's just start buying like crazy, and everybody else, all the other suckers can just try to keep up. So this is what happened. Grayscale added 10,000 Bitcoin to its portfolio in a day. That brings the total number of Bitcoin to almost 600,000. Imagine if they could reach a million. A million out of 21 million. That is a huge amount. They are going to be their own country at some point. So this is how it all broke out as far as numbers. So there was 576,650 Bitcoin was in their possession on December 21st. That amount rose to 588,970 only 24 hours later. So 576 to 588, let me do some quick math. That's about 11,000 if my math is correct. So we're looking at a ton more in just one day. Now, as before, they weren't buying that much every day, but they just said, you know what, we got to get ahead of this. PayPal is out there. They're trying to buy up as much as they can. I mean, that nut sailors is buying up like crazy, and everybody else is trying to get it. We need to just step up because, it's game on. And game face, and here we are. So Grayscale's recent purchase equates to a 13-day supply of newly mined Bitcoin, since the number of Bitcoin being added daily, or mined daily, which adds to the supply, is only 900. So you only get 900 per day, or 21 million, which is pretty good. But 900 per day, and they're like, you know what, we need 11,000. And they just went for it, and here we are. So this, I think, is the catalyst. This is the one where the gauntlet has been dropped, and they say, okay, catch us if you can. And I think now we're going to see some fireworks. The 9-figure sum Grayscale just spent to purchase Bitcoin is 10 times the average amount the digital asset manager was spending per week in the first quarter of the year on the flagship crypto. And it goes over some other stuff, but it's not important. What's important is what we just talked about. There's going to be a ton of buy-up. They're the ones that started off this whole craze because they were trying to stick to this minimum because they wanted everybody to get in so they could get all their pals in and they don't have to raise the price too much. But there's only so much in supply and demand, and it's the survival of the fittest. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Next piece. Let's dream. I love these little pieces by Raoul Pal because he's the one that really got me excited about Bitcoin again when he started to talk about it. I have always put heavy into Bitcoin. It's about 50% of my portfolio because I knew, or I thought I knew, I don't know anything. I thought that a lot of people would get into it, especially like the big institutions, because that's what they know and it's the safest, and they like to, hedge their bets as far as like safety. They want to go for the safest thing with the most amount of returns, and that's Bitcoin. Even though it's, and people will say, well, it's slow and it's old. Yeah, it sure is, but you know what? People know it, so that's what's going on. Just like McDonald's. McDonald's is awful, but guess what? Everybody goes there. So what do we got here? Just in a recent interview, Powell said this. He goes, it is, I think, gigantically different talking about Bitcoin, what's going on. First, look at the acceleration of this post-halving versus the previous one. It's faster, which none of us expected. We were all expecting the slope to be less. So far, not true. Now it's just the early days. And he goes, and he talks about, now we've got institutions. This is something I never really thought about. We've got institutions. Some of them will buy and hold. But as you bring in hedge funds, you'll start bringing new supply in the market because they'll trade it. They'll trade it in big sizes. They'll be selling, buying, shorting, everything else. So not only the big institutions here, but then the hedge funds are going to come in. They're going to trade it all over the place. I thought that would kind of be more of a volatility issue, but he says this. What that actually does is lower the volatility of Bitcoin over time. So the texture and feel of Bitcoin will be different. Over time, the next cycle, and this was interesting, over time, the next cycle, the returns will be significantly lower in terms of percentage returns. Let me say it again. The next cycle, not this one that we're going through right now, the returns will be significantly lower in terms of percentage returns. And that only makes sense because we are the early adopters, and that's where all the money really is made. Once you have that little bell curve, you have the early adopters on the left-hand side, then you get to mass adoption right in the center, and then you have the laggards on the right side. The next one, this is when everybody comes in. 2021 is the year. 2022 is probably pushing it. But that's what's going to happen. So all of us right here, right now, it's going to look a lot different in a year, I will tell you that. He says this one, he's talking about this cycle, this bull run cycle, this parabolic bull run, I have a hunch will be bigger than anybody imagines. The structure of the market is changing. I have a feeling that this is going to be a little more shocking than people can imagine. If I just take the log chart and put regression lines on it, I don't know what he's talking about, but it's a trading thing, sure. If it gets to 2 standard deviations overboard, which is roughly where it got to the last 2 peaks, that's $1 million. So maybe it's all about fractals and laying over charts. Sure, I get that. I don't need an explanation. Thanks everybody at the TA Masters. I just know that I just know that Bitcoin's gonna go up. That's all I care about, right? I don't care how we get there. I just know it's gonna go up, and I'm pretty happy about that. So the question then is, where do you think we're gonna go? Where do you think we're gonna go, and in what time frame? I would love to hear everybody's price prediction in the comments below. Start with Bitcoin and then give me your second favorite coin and tell me where you think it's going and at what time. I'd love to hear it. This will be good. And that's it. And before we take off, I just want to say thanks to everybody who has contributed to the DNews stake pool for Cardano. We're almost at 12.5 million and our saturation point is at 20%, meaning we can only get to 63 million. I think we've gone 2 weeks now and we've done marvelous, I have to tell you. We're already minting blocks. Things are going in the right direction. But just as you know, if you delegate to a new pool, it could take what they call 2 or 3 epochs, which is 10 to 15 days to start to receive the rewards, but then it just kind of flows from there. If you are interested in contributing to the DNews Cardano staking pool for passive income and rewards between 4 and 6%, just go into the description below. There's going to be a link. It's going to look just like this. And once you click on that link, it's going to take you to our Cardano staking pool webpage, the explainer. Just click on wallets. It'll take you all the way down, and then just watch this video. It's about 13 minutes. It explains how to do everything. It is the easiest thing to stake with Cardano. I don't know what Ethereum was thinking when they put that out. It is tough. With this one, it's like a click of a button and you're done. It's super simple, and we lay it all out right here. All right, so thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you on the next one.